Laser sights will make you a more accurate and confident shooter by providing visual feedback on sight alignment and trigger control. Crimson Trace, making laser sight standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
While Tom's out hunting in the Wild Wild West, you can kick back and listen to a reloaded version of a previously broadcast Gun Talk. Tom will be back live next week.
All right, back with you. I'm Tom Gresham. It is Gun Talk. Glad that you could be with us. If you'd like to join us, well, that's easy. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. Tom, that's me. And what do we do here? We talk guns. So Tom Talk Gun. That'll certainly get you in there. Hey, we're giving away stuff, as we like to do. If you go to our website, guntalk.com, and hit the win button, or guntalk.com/win, you can find our giveaway, this month's giveaway. Let's see, we're doing a September starter pack giveaway. One person's going to win $1,000 in SIG handgun ammo. Somebody else is going to win 2 SIG electro-optics. Somebody's going to win a SIG P210 target pistol. Holy cow, that's a great pistol. Somebody's going to get the SIG MCX air rifle with a red dot, plus everything that goes with it. 4 people are going to get a $50 gift card to use at crossbreedholsters.com. A whole bunch of cool stuff going on. Starter pack. From the grand prize is a concealed carry starter pack from Crossbreed Holsters and some other folks. Go to guntalk.com/win. Now, you know that I'm kind of loopy for revolvers. I started with revolvers when I was real little. I remember shooting when it first came out, the model 57 Smith 41 Magnum. Put a scope on it. I think I was 15, drove out to the range. Like second or third shot, scope goes flying past my ear, came off the gun. They didn't have any mounts back then, good enough for that. But I've always liked revolvers. And so it was a lot of fun when I discovered there's somebody else who likes them maybe as much, maybe even more than I do. So I'm going to welcome him right now. Justin Carroll has a website called revolverguy.com. Justin, welcome.
Tom, thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. So, okay, your background is not exactly revolver world. Military?
Yes, sir. Special operations community, about a dozen years in that as a military guy, and then a civilian with some other government organizations. And now I'm just a regular civilian.
Okay, so special ops guys, in fact, nobody in the military that I'm aware of uses revolvers much. I mean, it may be a really, really rare esoteric thing. So how do you go from the Berettas and the SIGs and things like that to a revolver?
So I carried 1911s and Glocks for most of my time in the military, some experience on the Beretta. And after I got out, I just kind of hit this point where I realized if I had to pick up a revolver, I wouldn't know. I'd probably get 6 shots off, and that's about it, maybe. So it was something I wanted to learn to have a more well-rounded mastery at firearms generally. Mm-hmm. And I travel incessantly for work. It's not uncommon to have 150, 200 nights a year in hotels. And I needed something that is as legal as it can possibly be everywhere I go. So that kind of drove me in that direction.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to worry about magazine capacity limits and that type of thing.
Yeah, I didn't want to have to worry about when I left for a trip and might have to go somewhere else. Do I take my 10 rounders and leave my 15 rounders, or how to juggle that? Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So tell me about this journey you went on then to discover revolvers.
So I discovered Chris Baker's Wheel Gun Wednesday on the Lucky Gunner Lounge, and he was kind of going through the same journey that I was thinking about embarking upon. So I had an old Smith & Wesson 686 that I'd picked up a few years earlier, and I wanted something that I could carry. So kind of on his advice, I bought a Smith & Wesson 640 Pro Series, and that's what I've carried on a daily basis for about the last 2 years. And now I'm consider myself quite a bit more confident and capable with wheel guns than I was when I started.
Well, you may not know, but at the first of the year, I declared that 2017 is the year of the revolver. And I just made that up completely, but I was watching all of these introductions from manufacturers, and they probably were sitting on some of these for a while. They could just crank out things. They didn't have to turn out new product. They just kept making things because the demand was there. But then the demand slowed down. They said, well, let's bring out some new things. So, we have things like revolvers in 327 Federal. We have, 5, 6, and 7-shot revolvers. Kimber brings out a revolver. We've got, obviously Smith and Ruger cranking out stuff. We've got the little smaller 44 Special revolver from Ruger. It just goes on and on. What do you think? It kind of is the year of the revolver, isn't it?
I could not disagree with you, but I hope next year is even bigger for revolvers. I hope this trend kind of keeps going. I guess kind of selfishly because I absolutely love revolvers and all these new products. Kimber just released some new versions of the K6, the Cobra. I'm excited to see these new guns coming out.
That's right. Cobra is out. So, okay, you got this website called revolverguy.com. What do you do there? What are people going to find when they go there?
So you'll find not a lot of gun reviews yet. I just got my first T&E gun from Ruger a couple of weeks ago, so I'm working on that. I find a ton of reviews of speed loaders. That's one of the first things I started to focus on with the revolvers is there's 50 different speed loaders on the market. Which one's the best? Which one do I use? Why don't they all work with all guns and that sort of stuff? You'll find a little bit of product reviews and some tactical stuff, as well as some really good articles by Mike Wood, who wrote the Newhall Shooting, a tactical analysis, and who I believe you've had on this show.
Yes,
so he and I are kind of working hand in hand on that, and it's a growing project and consuming more and more of my time. And fortunately for me, it's something I really enjoy spending my time on. So check it out.
Will do. Okay, revolverguy.com. Now, as I'm sitting here, let me just double check. Okay, yep, we're unloaded. Okay. All right. Smith 686 7-shot 3-inch barrel, the deluxe plus version in a leather holster, because I believe they should be in leather holsters. Something about revolvers. I saw you just did something on leather holsters on your website too. It is amazing how many different holster makers are out there. And, we know about the big holster makers. Everybody knows about those. But there are a lot of smaller shops making some really fine leather goods that really work well for revolvers.
Absolutely, there are. Mike Wood is working on an article about El Paso Saddlery's Jordan rig. The big ones, Galco, DeSantis, as well as a ton of smaller ones. And I got to be honest with you, Tom, for daily carry, I'm a Kydex guy. It's hard for me to get away from that. So I'm actually carrying an AIWB from Dark Star Gear. I'm not paid to advertise by them. And my first review of this holster honestly wasn't all that flattering, but I've kind of come to love it. So a ton of options out there, but aftermarket support is one of those things that I would like to see catch up to the revolvers, because it's still, you don't have the options you have if you're going to carry a Glock 43 or M&P Shield or something along those lines.
Right. I've been experimenting, and I've been able to conceal carry 686 3-inch barrel 7-shot 357 outside the waistband holster using a Lobo gun leather holster, and with an untucked shirt, it works perfectly, and it is super comfortable. So I kind of throw that out. Don't forget the Lobo guys; they make really nice leather holsters. But I'm going way back to, obviously Smith's had its J-frame forever, but when Ruger brought out the LCR, that light compact revolver of theirs, and had a different trigger mechanism, which didn't stack, so that people could actually, a lot of people had maybe hands that were not as strong, and they could fire at double action. I think that was a demarcation point also.
I absolutely agree. And as far as the LCR goes, I think it's as ugly as a pair of homemade shoes, but man, that gun shoots and it carries super, super well. personally, for a primary carry gun, I like something, all steel guns. I do carry a J-frame on a daily basis.
Yeah, wait. This is from the guy who carried a Glock for so long, right? One of the ugliest things ever created, and but you like steel, but you carried a Glock. So we're going to color you confused. How's that?
That's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, I don't know, something about revolvers. I like steel. I like leather. I like I like pre-lock Smith and Wessons. Just can't help myself.
No, I understand. Now, one of the things I haven't looked a whole lot. Now, are you also going to cover or doing things on single action revolvers?
That is definitely not off the table. I am not the man. If someone wants to write something about single action revolvers and send it to me, I need a single action guy, because that is not me. I may pick that up at some point, but I'm still learning. Every article I write, it feels like I learned something about revolvers, about their history, their maintenance, or about how to employ them. So I'm still trying to fully get my arms around the double action revolver, but I'd love to pick up the single action eventually.
Okay, well, if somebody is a single action person, man or woman, and they want to write about it, they can go to your website, revolverguy.com, and maybe you guys can make contact. Justin, thank you so much. I love hearing your enthusiasm for the revolver. I share it with you, and as you go further and further, there's just so much to explore and to learn.
Awesome, Tom. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. You take care. Yeah, we call it the year of the revolver. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something about revolvers, or something primal or elemental, or being able to see that cylinder turn. Do you like revolvers? Have you ever carried a revolver? What is it for you? What is it about revolvers that's just so much fun? 866 Talk Gun.
Black Hills. There's nothing like it on Earth. The kind of place where characters become legends. Wild Bill Hickok, Crazy Horse, Calamity Jane. Pick any part of the world and you'll find people go there to make it their own. But this is where people come to get made. This is the place that made the people who make the best ammo on Earth. Black Hills Ammunition.
The Ruger pistol that started it all is now even better. The Ruger Mark IV has the same great look as the Mark III, but now its simple one-button takedown means less time taking apart your gun and more time shooting it. Disassemble it in seconds for no hassle cleaning. Learn more about the Target, Hunter, and 2245 Light Mark IV series models at Ruger.com. The Ruger Mark IV, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created Gun Dealio. That's a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? Gun Dealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit SigSauer.com today.
There's only one place where you can buy that firearm you've always wanted and turn it into your very own. That place is Brownells.com. Now offering a huge selection of firearms from all your favorite brands. Brownells is the spot to buy online. When you're choosing your gun, be sure to look over the enormous selection of parts, accessories, ammo, and more to make that firearm your masterpiece. Brownells.com. Serious about firearms.
Interesting. Michael sends me a note, says, get ready. Hollywood has an anti-gun movie coming out next week. Sure that all the stars will be making the circuit on TV and radio. It's called Shot. Tells a tragic story, of course. It'll go nowhere. They'll lose money on it. It's another preachy, lousy movie, I'm sure, of guns are bad, guns cause turmoil. If you have a gun, it's not only going to affect you, but everybody around you, probably everybody in your neighborhood, and possibly everybody in your city, and maybe even most of the people in your state, because you had a gun. Yeah, give me a break. They try this stuff every now and then, try to trot it out. Typically goes nowhere. Even the biggest one, and one would argue the most successful one, would be the American president. And even that was so preachy as to be ignorable. So, I don't know. Let's see. I want to go to line one. Kathy is with us now, and she actually sent me a fascinating email. And I said, we got to get you on the show. Kathy, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. So tell me what happened to you. This is a fascinating story.
Well, I was leaving the subdivision last Sunday night, and the neighbor stopped me. And we had a conversation for a couple hours. And a great deal of that was about people being shot by police officers for miscommunication. So we had a lot of discussion on what's recommended, what we do, what we should do, that kind of stuff.
When you say miscommunication, you mean like somebody who has a carry permit and maybe the cop sees a gun or sees them reaching and he ends up getting, shooting somebody?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So not 5 minutes later, I made a lane change in front of a police car. Mm-hmm. Now, it's dark out, and then the lights came on his car, and then it was like probably about a quarter of a mile from a McDonald's well-lit parking lot. So I pulled in there, rolled down my windows, had my driver's license on the dash, and had my hands at 10 and 2. So a young officer approached, and he stood straight out from the back of my seat and asked for my driver's license and registration. Mm-hmm. So I handed him my driver's license, and I paused, and he reminded me he wanted my registration. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, there's the problem, because I'm not comfortable getting that for you because it's located in the glove box under my elbow underneath a handgun. And he said, that's okay. Go ahead and get the registration. And I thought, well, I don't think he understood what I'm saying because he can't even see the registration or the glove box. Mm-hmm. And about a year ago, I'd been stopped. I did not have a handgun in there, but when I told the officer that where my registration was located and I knew he couldn't see me get into it, mm-hmm. He said, that's okay, I don't need it. So this guy made no different reaction. He didn't move. He didn't say anything other than, yeah, go ahead. So I didn't feel comfortable. So I repeated myself and said, I'm sorry, but I do not feel comfortable getting the registration for you because my handgun's on top of it. So he asked me, he says, well, where is your registration? And where is the handgun? I said, they are located under my elbow in the glove box between the seats. He says, well, go ahead and get it. And he still didn't do anything different. And I started to get nervous. And I said, I'm really sorry. I do not feel comfortable doing this. And he asked me again where it was, and I told him. And then it was like he had a light bulb moment. And he walked forward to the front fender of my car so he could look through the dashboard. And he put his hand on his gun. Strange as it seems, now I felt safe.
Wow, that's weird.
Well, I knew he understood what I was saying at that point.
Okay.
So I don't know if earlier he thought, oh, it's just an older lady, no big deal, or he just wasn't registering. I couldn't tell.
Mm-hmm.
But once he had his hand on his gun and stood where he could watch me open that box and get in there, then I knew he understood that there's a gun in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a Kimber Micro in a leather holster, and it's right on top. So the first thing I did is I picked it up with 2 fingers and laid it on the dash. And then I got the registration. And then he took his hand off the gun. He came back to the window. I handed him the registration. Well, first I was looking. I had like 3 or 4 papers I was looking through.
Right.
Well, while I was doing that, he says, since we are parked here for a while, I'm going to do this. And he reached inside, picked up the gun, removed it from the holster, removed the magazine, and cleared the barrel. Then he laid the gun back down, and he kept the magazine. And he said, when we're done here, if I don't give you back your magazine, remind me to give it to you. I said, okay.
Okay.
So I gave him the registration. He went back to his car. And probably 3 minutes later, he came back and handed me back my license and registration. He says, well, I tell you what, I'll only give you a warning because I really appreciate the way you handled the handgun and explaining it to me. He says, I wish everybody carried a handgun. He said, I don't go anywhere without a handgun. And some of my fellow officers don't think everyone should carry a gun, but I do. Wow. And I appreciate that you do.
Well, Kathy, thank you for sharing that with us. It's quite the encounter, and you had presence of mind because you had just walked through it in your head. You've been there mentally. That is terrific. And thank you for sending me that note. Thank you for being who you are. For those who don't know, Kathy sometimes joins us on the show, and NRA life member of staff, on and on and on. Kathy is a gun girl for sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That is fascinating. Wow, story of a traffic stop. Yeah, it sounds like maybe the officer just wasn't registering, wasn't listening. He was going through the motions. He kind of had his idea of what he was going to encounter, and that wasn't it. 866-TALK-GUN. Have you ever had a traffic stop and you were carrying? How'd it go?
While Tom's out hunting in the Wild Wild West, you can kick back and listen to a reloaded version of a previously broadcast Gun Talk. Tom will be back live next week.
All right, back with you, 866-TALK-GUN, taking your calls, range reports, anything like that. Basically, it's open lines. Anything you want to talk about, if it's about guns, we'll talk about it. I see that, let's see, the National Shooting Sports Foundation put out a release last week talking about flooded guns. Also, the NSSF and SAMI, they argued to the California Supreme Court in a filing last month that the state's 2007 law requiring new semi-auto handguns sold in the state to have the capability to permanently mark shell casings, in other words, microstamping, says that they're asking for something that cannot be done. NSSF is saying this is impossible. It cannot be done. From a technology standpoint, you're requiring something on guns that's impossible to do. And, of course, I would offer the reason they're doing that is they know it can't be done, so they can keep cutting down the number of handguns that are authorized to be sold in California. Case in point, says the number of pistols certified for sale has dropped significantly. Let's see, from 867 to 504 models. And this filing says that it costs the firearms industry $183 million annually since 2013. And that's what California wants. No guns, no guns, no guns. Fred's in Anchorage, Alaska on 3. Let's talk slugs and shotguns, Fred.
Hey, how's it going, Tom? Yeah.
Good.
That boy was asking if he could load shells and regular shotgun shells.
Right.
Yeah, well, Lee makes a mold for what they call a keyway slug. And what it is, it has a web across the bottom of it. It runs from the bottom all the way to the top. It's just like a little wall inside the center of the slug.
Okay.
And it loads right into regular shot shell cups.
Oh.
And they actually advise in the manual, I'm sitting here with the manual, they advise that you can use them in regular skeet or trap shot shells.
No kidding.
Yep.
That's slick.
All you got to do is buy the mold. And they say any scrap lead will do it just about. I know you don't want to be running any zinc or anything into them, so you want to be careful with wheel weights.
Right,
and stuff.
but shotgun slugs are typically soft lead anyway. It's not like you're trying to make them hard like
they're
bullets.
Just straight. Yeah, they're straight lead.
Straight lead.
Buy a bag of lead and melt your own down.
So this is the Lee loading manual?
Yeah, well, this is the Lee Modern Reloading Second Edition, Richard Lee. And I know they've got a third edition out now.
Perfect.
Yeah,
right.
And it's actually pretty cheap. You can buy the mold and the handles, because with the mold you got to use the Lee handles more than likely.
Right.
But you can buy them for right around $50.
You're in business. All right. Well, that's good info, Fred. Thank you for that. That's exactly what we're looking for. Let's jump down to Bill. He's in Sparks, Nevada on 4. Say, Bill, we're talking revolvers here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm all for revolvers myself, but I'm also a big fan of a top break if they'd make a decent one, modern one, you know. Mm-hmm. All the old ones, I know they're pretty small calibers that I've seen, and I'd like to see something heavier caliber, and I think the modern methods and materials, they ought to be able to build a decent top break revolver.
I don't know if it's a matter of the lockup is not strong enough on a top break, but you're right. I mean, now they used to have some big bore or top break revolvers in the old days, but those were very low pressure rounds.
Yeah. But they ought to be able to build one these days, even if they had to make it, redesign a little bit to have a little more meat on the top and run a ramp on out the barrel, with something more lightweight, just for the sighting plane or something, and keep the weight down somewhat. They'll be able to build a decent top break. Talk about facilitating a fast reload, together with some of those drop-in, 5 or 6 shots.
That's true. You pop it open, it throws them all out. I'm trying to remember. I had this goes way back, a top break 22 rimfire. Did H&R make a top break 22 rimfire?
I don't know. The only thing I've heard, I don't know anything about that.
Okay, I think it was H&R way back then. I don't know. Well, interesting idea. I will, if I get a chance to mention it to one of the gun makers, I'll certainly do that. Thanks, Bill. I appreciate that. And as long as we're talking about lead, let's go talk to Randy on 2. He's out of California. Let's talk lead, Randy.
Hi, Tom. I've recently been casting lead bullets, muzzleloaders for a long time, but recently centerfire bullets. Mm-hmm. And I've seen some stuff on YouTube regarding, I'm going blank here, painting
powder coating.
The lead bullet. Powder coating, yeah. And I tried a little of it. Seems pretty successful, but I was just wondering if you or any of your listeners might have any information. I think one of the main positives on this is not having to lube the bullets with the irregular bullet lube, and using the powder coat in place of that lubrication.
Well, I have to admit, I'm not familiar with that, using that on bullets. I mean, on bicycle frames and a lot of other things, powder coating works great. I guess a couple of things would be maybe a concern. I'd want to know how thick the coating is, because it could certainly change the diameter of the bullet. It may not be an issue, but I'd want to know that. To bind powder coating onto metal, you either have to do it electrostatically or with heat. I think the heat is not an issue. I just looked it up. It looks like maybe something on the order of 300 degrees Fahrenheit will do that. And lead doesn't melt to get beyond 600, so you're sure okay there. I don't know. Okay, here's the one thing. I got a weird brain here. The one thing it would let you do is do really cool, interesting colors for your projectiles.
Yeah, I have seen competitive shooters with colored bullets. I don't know if they're powder coated, but I was just wondering about that. But as far as the sizing, you actually powder coat the bullet before you size it.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's down to the correct size.
So you size it afterwards. Okay, so you're getting the right sizing anyway.
And believe it or not, that paint stays on there. I've even dug them out of the bank, at the shooting range, and amazingly, that paint is almost undamaged.
Well, I will freely admit that I did not know that was being done, and I am now fascinated by the idea of powder coating lead bullets. And if just the whole idea is kind of an out there fun thing. So I'm going to look it up. I don't know. I can't help you. I'm sorry, but boy, I'm going to start looking this up because this is brand new info for me.
Well, there's a lot on YouTube, and they're talking about the lubrication value of it. And I believe it because, like I said, that paint is still on those bullets after you fire them. So
I'll be darned. Well, that's very cool.
Barrel is like a mirror still. So.
Yep. All right. Well, I will look it up. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate that. Hey, look, we got to run. Jim's helping me out here, so it's time for the break, too. 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here. We're open lines. If there's a gun, ammo, a caliber, a scope, a holster, a sling, a bipod, or anything else that you'd like to share information about, or maybe ask me about, give me a holler. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk.
Cold Defense Ammunition, manufactured by Double Tap. Real defense ammo, designed with maximum effectiveness in mind. Have confidence in the performance of your defensive ammunition with Cold Defense by Double Tap. Available at your local retailer today.
Behind every revolution is a patriot. Just as this great country was founded on the ideals of many, the new Mossberg Patriot is the sum of all that came before it. Reliable, timeless, built to last. The classic American hunting rifle, with a heritage forged over generations, has come home. Mossberg, built rugged, proudly American.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Every crossbreed holster is handmade based on the design invented by our founder. A Kydex pocket molded around your gun for perfect retention. Leather backing for comfort. Specially designed clips allow you to tuck in your shirt for complete concealment. The highest quality mag carriers and belts sturdy enough to hold any gun. Our holsters come with a lifetime warranty and 2-week try-it-free guarantee. Crossbreed. Conceal and carry the cross. CrossbreedHolsters.com.
Face it, sometimes more is better. That's the idea behind the double-stack, full-capacity pistols from Springfield Armory. From the groundbreaking XD to the ergonomic XDM to the latest refinements in the XD Mod 2 series, you can get subcompact, midsize, and full-size pistols in 9, 40, and 45. Carry, target, or tactical models. Fast, accurate, dependable. Don't come up short when it matters. Go full cap. Go Springfield Armory. Springfield-Armory.com.
Double Tap Ammunition, loaded with quality components, hand-inspected and made in the U.S., offering 481 loads in 82 calibers. Find your next shot at DoubleTapAmmo.net. DoubleTapAmmo.net.
Well. Welcome back. 866-TALK-GUN. Looking at this, kind of goes with a lot of things we're talking about. Two different stories I'm looking at right now. One is man survives grizzly bear attack in Montana near Ennis. A man was recovering in the hospital on Tuesday after he was attacked by a grizzly bear while hunting with a friend near the Dry Gulch Cascade Creek area south of Ennis. The two hunters were bugling for elk on Monday morning when they came upon a grizzly bear eating a carcass. Yeah, that's never a good thing. It says the two men yelled at the bear, and it began to charge. The two men attempted to spray the animal with bear spray, but only one man's spray deployed. One is none, two is one. That's why you have two. The grizzly bear then attacked Tom Summer, scratching at the man's head and shoulder as he tried to shoot the bear. Goes on, says, was finally able to spray the bear from about 2 feet and escaped. I'm reminded of my friend Jim Reardon. When I first got to Alaska, 1982, and Jim had been there practically forever. He had trained most of the wildlife managers and game wardens in the state. And I said, all right, Jim, tell me the story. I don't know about bears. I know about cottonmouths and alligators. I'm from Louisiana. So tell me about bears. He said, well, Tom, it's real simple. He says, I don't go anywhere in bear country without a gun. I said, okay, got that. So what's bear country? And Jim says, anything that's not paved. He was dead serious, too. I said, well, what about the parks? He says, if they don't let me take a gun in, I don't go in them. This is back when you couldn't carry a gun in the parks. Now you can. So, which brings us to the topic of what would you carry? I would say our 357 10mm would be minimum. 45 ACP, no. 38, no. 9mm, no. Yes, you can do that with, but I want something bigger. What you're looking for is penetration. Penetration. Don't use ammo designed for people. Use either hunting ammo or specifically hard cast lead bullet ammo that gives you some really deep penetration because you got to get through a lot of mass. It could be skull, it could be bone, could be a lot of muscle. Bears are tough. 44 Magnum, if you could shoot it, sure. 357, absolutely. 10mm, perfect. But have it, know how to use it. Now, contrast that with this other story that we're looking at, and you may have seen this already. Cleveland, Ohio. I love this. Remember this number, 60%. 60%, okay? Employees at a Taco Bell, a Cleveland Taco Bell, shot a suspect during an attempted robbery. Officers responded to the restaurant at 2:45 a.m. When they arrived, they found a suspect with multiple gunshot wounds. We're going to get to the 60% here in a second here. Let's see. The suspect later died. Yeah, that happens. Occupational hazard of being an armed robber. Said the preliminary investigation indicates that 3 of the 5 employees at Taco Bell were armed and shot at the 2 suspects. 60% of the employees who were there at 2 o'clock in the morning were carrying. These 2 guys come in armed, wearing masks, and order the employees to the ground at gunpoint. 3 of the 5, 60% said, don't think so. And so they proceeded to ventilate one of these guys. The other guy, I'm not sure if he got shot or not. Just kind of food for thought on the whole being prepared idea and getting your mind right. I'm curious about the bear thing, and maybe the bear got on them before they could do anything, but I got to tell you, if I'm carrying a rifle, I'm hunting elk, I'm not spraying a bear with spray. If he's coming at me, I'm shooting him. Now, it may not have been time, but if there's time to get the spray out and try to spray him, there's probably time to get your rifle out and shoot him. And a rifle is much better than a handgun when it comes to that. If you got a rifle that's good enough for elk, it's probably going to be what you need for a bear attack. And yes, there will be paperwork. And yes, there will be reports. And yes, you will have to justify it. And yes, you will not get chewed on by a bear, which would be a really good thing. Because when a grizzly chews on you, you have been well chewed. Just say it, okay? I like the 60% number, though. 3 out of 5 of the employees that had guns pulled them out, shot armed robbers with masks who ordered them all onto the ground. Way to go. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham. We're open lines. Give me a holler. way, if you're into cast bullets or thinking about getting into it, Jim just put me onto this website, castbullets.gunloads.com. But bullets is not spelled the way you think. It's BOOLITS. One word, cast, BOOLITS, castbullets.gunloads.com. Lots of information there. Let's see, John's with us, line 1 out of Grants Pass, Oregon. Hey, John, what kind of rifle did you get?
Oh, I have a gun safe full of them. My questions are more general than for a specific rifle, but okay. I have 2 issues I'm interested in your thinking on. Regarding high accuracy, what are your thoughts on barrel break-in? The more you study that, the more it seems like religion than science. And secondly, what is your opinion on cleaning the barrel? Is there a detriment to accuracy, scrubbing back and forth? Should you drag something through only in the direction the bullet travels?
Aha. All right. We're talking about a bolt-action rifle where we can remove the bolt and clean it from the breech?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay. Clean it from the breech, take the bolt out, use a bore guide, get it from Brownells. If it is a really accurate rifle, I would recommend when you first shoot it, I would shoot it, clean it, shoot it, clean it, shoot it, clean it for 10 shots. I would clean it after each shot. Yes, it's time-consuming. And I'm talking about cleaning it with a patch and a brush, and then a dry patch and get it dry. Then shoot it. And then for the next 10 shots, or maybe 15 shots, I'd like shoot 3 rounds and clean it, 3 rounds, clean it, do that, and then call it happy and declare victory, and you're done. As far as, yes, you run a brush, a brass, not steel, a brass brush both ways. Push it all the way through till it goes out the end of the muzzle. Then pull it all the way back till it comes out of the gun. Don't try to reverse the direction inside of the barrel. Won't work. No harm, no foul. Brass brushes are much softer than steel barrels. And so, yeah, I'm a believer in cleaning, using good cleaning products. I like the Slip 2000 products, but there are a lot of really good ones out there. So that's what I would do. If it's just a regular hunting rifle or most ARs, I wouldn't bother with the whole breaking in thing. I don't think it matters.
Okay. Really appreciate your thoughts and your experience.
Absolutely. You take care. Let's see. Stacy's on line 2. Stacy, I got about 1 minute, so go for it, please.
Real quick, just clarification. That man got attacked up by Ennis, Montana by the grizzly bear past week. He could not shoot at it with the rifle because during archery season in Montana, you are not allowed to carry a rifle. You can carry a handgun.
So he was bow hunting?
Yes, you cannot carry a rifle when you are bow hunting. Bow hunting season has just started.
Okay, because I know that there are some places where you can rifle hunt even this early in the bugling season, but there's nothing in the story I saw that said that they were bow hunting. So I did not have that information. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you're bow hunting, in some states you cannot carry a firearm. In some states you can.
Right. Yeah, you can. Most of the areas here, you can carry a handgun, pepper spray, and your bow, but you cannot carry a bow and a rifle at the same time.
Gotcha. Okay. Hey, that's very helpful. I appreciate that. Yeah, the story didn't mention that at all. And I made an assumption. You know what happens when you do that? Once again, I've made that person. Yeah, Oh, well, thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's good to have all the information. And, I read it in the general media, so you're not going to get all the information. That's why we have everybody out there to help us out. Lots of folks keep us straight, keep us honest. We appreciate that. All right, we're going to be talking about more guns in just a minute here. Also, let's see, coming up, we're going to be talking, this is cool. You know the whole deal of doctors asking about gun ownership and wanting to put that on your records, and it's been a real problem? Well, there's a group that says, okay, we're going to identify doctors that don't do that, so you can choose your doctor on the basis of somebody who's not going to intrude into your privacy and ask you about your guns. If that interests you, you absolutely want to stay for this one. It sure interests me. I want to find out what's going on here. If you want to join us, 866-TALK-GUN. This is Gun Talk.